So my name's Nicholas Platzer. I run an art gallery in Vienna, Austria. I'm from America originally. I grew up as basically a rebellious little teen, one of those snot-faced little shitheads that run around breaking stuff, and I was a skateboarder. And that all kind of developed into me seeing the city in a different way. So as a skateboarder, you don't see things as park benches, you see them as obstacles to skate on. And that then later led to me getting into street art because it was a way to see the city differently and just sort of like, it's not a gray wall, it's not a building, it's actually a potential canvas to leave my message or just paint a nice image. So some of the really nice examples that I found over the years is this one. It was in Egypt, I believe. It was sort of a blockade that someone just kind of, we'd rather see an open street. I'm just going to burn through these things because we've got a limited amount of time. This is a piece by Rhodesworth where they just play with everyday street paintings. This is the normal lines. We see it constantly, but we never really take into our mental image. We sort of just see it as these are lines painted by the city to guide us around. And so basically, all this painting and all these things led me to opening the gallery. And these are some of the artists that we've worked with over the years. I've been doing it roughly around 10 years now. We're about to do our 69th exhibition. These are some of the big international names we've got on there. Maybe you've heard of some of them: Roa, Itam Crew, Shida, Yana, and JS. We did two group shows of Israeli artists and a solo exhibition of Broken Fingers. These guys are from Haifa, amazing artists. You'll see a lot of their work around town. But basically, after a while and bringing these artists into the gallery, it got a little stale, and I kind of wanted to go back out. And this whole thing is about urban disruption and being in a city like Vienna, which has this sort of classical image, and everything's about the old horses and Mozart. I didn't really do any of that. I don't listen to classical music. I'm sorry if anyone does, but it bores me. The opera puts me to sleep. I haven't been there the entire time I lived there. So basically, I went out and I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to change the actual image of this city, and I don't really care if the city says I can do it or not." To my surprise, they were very supportive of it. They've financed a lot of our projects. This is one of them. This was Roa, a Belgian artist. We came in to paint a abandoned lot. This lot was sitting empty for years and years and years, and we came in and got permission. It's actually turned out to be an art school in that building. They were fully on board. And after we did this, the next to it is a kindergarten, and the kids would always kind of just run through because they thought it was a scary park. And once we put these birds up, every lunch break, they would come out there and start playing in front of this wall. So it was like a really nice thing that we didn't even plan. We just said oh, here's a nice big wall. Let's invite Roa to do this. And it really changed the way people use that lot. Unfortunately, now they ripped it down and put a building up there. So this is another one we did in one of the popular markets in Vienna. It's become kind of a landmark in that market. There's a lot of fish sellers that are based right in front. And it's just kind of nice. People now have this sort of landmark that they say, "Oh, let's meet by the painting from Best from Itam Crew." This was another project we did in another market where basically they're closed every evening as of 6 o'clock and on Sundays. And it becomes kind of a ghost town. It's this really popular market by day, but at night, just no one goes there, and it kind of got taken over by graffiti writers. And so then we went in and started asking the owners of the stands if we could paint their shutters and sort of revive it at night. And now it's become this really nice walking area where people can go on Sundays. And, it's kind of an open gallery where people just check it out, and it's a revolving space. And this was another, sort of Nightjust, Shida, Ben Ein, and Broken Fingers up there. So international thing. A really nice thing that the city did was they were so into all of our projects that they ended up sponsoring an urban guide that we put together, basically which came out of us getting tired of drawing maps for all the tourists who came to our city, who were like, "Hey, where's that wall? Where's this spot?" And we just said, "I'm sick of drawing on these stupid, they give out these really stupid pink free maps in the city of Vienna." And so we said, we'll make them cool, we'll get a designer to do it for us, and these are available online as well. So just another example of how the city kind of got involved with us. But after a while, we got tired of Vienna, and so we started expanding and going to other cities around the world and trying to disrupt their urban environments as well. So this was one where we got invited to Graz. It's an old animal feed factory, which was shut down after the mad cow outbreak. And we invited artists from all over the world. This is Ivoco, who's originally Dominican, and Franco, who's jazz, who's from Argentina, and we had a bunch of other guys from Argentina, from America, from Puerto Rico, And they just kind of came in and just this abandoned factory and just did it all up. And so it was really nice. It's become kind of a cultural hub now for the city as well. Other examples, Miami, we were invited there to paint a couple murals. This is a crazy example of how street art can change a neighborhood. This is in Wynwood. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It was basically used to be just a sort of desolate factory zone of Miami, sort of close to South Beach, but the exact opposite. No sort of cocaine-financed big fancy buildings. It's all just low-lying warehouses. And basically, one property developer came in, bought a couple factories, and said, I want to have a bunch of street artists paint here. And it's become this huge thing where the first week of December every year during Art Basel, the world's community of street artists descend upon Wynwood and just paint every single building possible. And it's gotten pretty out of control now. It's not curated, and a lot of really bad artists show up too. But, and once in a while you find sort of diamond in the rough, and you get these nice ones. This was a project I did this summer in Providence, Rhode Island, my hometown, where you can kind of see how big it is. That's me down in the bottom left corner there. It's the biggest mural we've ever done. And it's in a sort of a parking lot, which again is like, this unlived zone of the city where no one really cared about. They walked by it all the time. We had every single day that we were there, we had the mayor of the city stop by to check on our progress. He even came and drank beers with us, which I didn't get to drink beers with the mayor last night. I was a little disappointed about that one. And what's really nice about it is that it's become this hotspot in Providence where I recently saw a newspaper article about a couple that got engaged in front of it. So it's this really beautiful thing how like art affects people just constantly. My mom lives in the city still. She goes down all the time to check on it and tells everybody, oh, that's my Nicky boy. And she stops people on the street and she's like, do you know who did that? And it's this really nice kind of interaction that this art creates with people. I'm a little embarrassed when she does that, but whatever, it's moms. Lastly, the last project I really want to talk about is one that I'm super proud that we did. We went to Dominican Republic. We went to a tiny little town called Rio San Juan. Probably no one's ever heard of it or been there. It's a small little fishing village. Basically, the only options people have in their life is to become a fisherman or to somehow go into tourism. And we kind of just came into town with 30 artists and said, hey, we want to paint all your houses and your walls and whatever you can give to us. And at first, they were really standoffish. They're like, why are you doing this? Do we have to pay you for it? And like, no, everything's free. Like, don't worry about it. We'll just, we're coming in. We have everything with us. All we need is your permission and your walls. And once we started getting the ball rolling, at first, everyone wanted, like, religious icons. And they're really sort of like, no, paint, fruit on my house. But then once we got, like, a couple sort of open spirits, they let us do our thing. Obviously, most people would never let a sliced open pig head be painted on their house. That was in the abandoned movie theater, where they usually actually have Halloween parties and stuff, so it kind of fit perfectly for the kids. And it was this inspiring movement, and a lot of the artists right now, because there's a lot of festivals and traveling around, it's become very commercialized what we're doing. They feel very out of touch with the reasons why they got into street art, and this project in Dominican Republic was just really nice, back to the basics, getting to know the people, and getting to sort of put your art out there for people who really sort of be moved by it. And there was a video that was made by one of the women who was with us on the trip, which I suggest everyone to go on Vimeo, look up Artisano Project, and you'll find this amazing 16-minute film. Unfortunately, I couldn't show it here because I'm time limits. And she spent the entire time, we were always wondering where she was, and she was actually going into the homes of the people of the village and interviewing them and asking them how this art is affecting them and how things are changing. And you really get this beautiful view of sort of what was created by what we had created there. And it's really nice to see we're still in touch with a lot of the younger kids there who, like I said, basically thought they were going to have to be fishermen or somehow in hotel business tourism. And they've continued our project, and they continue to paint walls, and we still get emails from them about how they're going through the city, talking to people, and using our walls as examples to get permission for them to paint. So basically, with that, I want to say, everyone go out, grab a can, and disrupt the city as much as you can, and hopefully I'll be back in Tel Aviv painting some walls.